right, we are back with problem number 2. Now with problem number 2, you're going to have an outside number with 2 digits. So it's the same process, it's just a bigger number. So it seems a lot harder, but you guys are smart and you will do just fine. Now, if you notice, I already have my checklist, 4 numbers in the house, 4 checklists, right? Keeps me on track, make sure I don't miss a step. So let's start from the top. We are going to divide. So you just say, okay, how many times can 26 go into 4? Well, 26 can't go into 4, so we know we put a 0 on top. Now this time I'm going to go through the first checklist. If you know just to move on to 42, you're good. So I divided. Okay, I'm going to multiply. 0 times 26 is 0. I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. I'm going to check. 4 is definitely less than 26, so I'm good. And then I'm going to bring down my 2. So see, if you didn't do the step, you would move on to 42. We did do the step. We're still moving on to 42, so it's the same thing. Now I have to ask myself, okay, how many times can 26 go into 42? Okay, well, 26 times 1 is 26. 26 times 2, this is where extra paper will help you. I'm just going to double check my math off to the side. 26 times 2 would give me 52, and that's too high, right? You want to get as close as you can to 42 without going over. So we know that 26 can go only into 42 one time. So I'm going to put a 1 up top. I'm going to multiply whatever number I put on top times the side. 1 times 26, which is 26. I'm then going to subtract 2 minus 6. If I have 2, I can't take away 6 things, so we have to look to our neighbor and borrow. So the 4 becomes a 3, the 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6, 3 minus 2 is 1, subtracted, check. Is 16 less than 26? 16 seems like a big number, but we're still less than 26, so we're good. Now we have to bring down our 6. So now we have to see, okay, how many times can 26 go into 166? So we're going to, again, have to show some math. Now, 166 is a pretty big number, so I'm going to try 26 times 5. I know 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Okay. So 26 times 5 is 130. I'm going to try one more, see if I can get closer. 26 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. 156. So 26 times 6 is as close as I'm going to get to 166 without going over. Because if I did another 26, I would be over. I'd be 176, and that would be too much. So I know for sure that 26 times 6 is the answer. So I'm going to put the 6 at the top, divide, multiply. 26 times 6 we did is 156. Then I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. I'm going to check, is 10 less than 26? Yes. Then I'm going to bring down my 3. Check it. So now we're back at the top again. Remember, when you're subtracting, if your top number is bigger, you're good. If your top number is smaller, you have to borrow from your neighbor. So if we're looking, now we have, okay, how many times can 26, how many times can 26 go into 103? So I'm going to look at my work. I know 26 times 5 is too high. 26 times 2 might be too low. So I'm going to do 26 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Drop the 8, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay, I got to 78. Let's try 26 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, which would give us 104. So, but 104 is over 103, so I know this isn't it. So I have to go down to the lowest one, which would be 26 times 3. So at the top, I'm going to put a 3. 26 can go in 103 3 times without going over. I will multiply. 3 times 26 we know is 78. I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 8, I can't do that. So I have to look to my neighbor. My neighbor's a 0. Can't take anything away from him. So now we have to go all the way over to the 1. The 1 crosses out to 0. This would become a 10. Then we would look and say, okay, 3, I still can't do 3 minus 8, so the 10 is going to become a 9, and the 3 will become a 13. 13 minus 8 is 5, 9 minus 7 is 2, 0 minus 0 is 0. So now you're just going to check. Is 25 less than 26? Yes, we are good. And then we have nothing else to bring down, so we know that the 25 then is our remainder of 25. And that is division with a 2-digit divisor.